Hey, this is Emily at Oz Inflatable Kayaks, and this is me in the Edge Pro 1 from Razor Kayaks, who have done a lot of marketing on this one, a lot of press releases, a lot of editorials, a lot of marketing videos. And this one, they're claiming it's award-winning, but I haven't actually seen an award. If you can find the details, pop it in the comments for me. And it's replaced the Razor X1 as the best overall kayak on the equipment guide. Now, any review website that doesn't, give you faces and names as to who actually owns it, grain of salt, but people do look at this information and they call us and they ask us. So I'm going to give you what I think are the pros and the cons of this kayak, and that'll help you hopefully to decide whether it's going to be right for you. The first thing I love about this kayak is you can put a spray skirt on. You can see it here. That is awesome. Like, that just gives you so much versatility. You can do overnight trips, you can do cold climates, travel, more adventurous stuff. Obviously, you don't have to wear it, but you've got the ability to do it. Now, this is an oversized cockpit. It's really big, so make sure you check the sizing with Razor before you order a spray skirt. If you're ordering one separately, make sure it fits. So I love that. I love the versatility. I love that it's full drop stitch. So drop stitch is material that's stitched top to bottom all the way through the chamber, and then you inflate it to quite high pressure and it stays rigid. It's what they make inflatable stand-up paddleboards out of. So if you can imagine someone with all their weight on one point of the board, how is it not buckling? Like, it's amazing. This is how. It's very effective at getting rigidity, and the whole kayak is drop stitch. So what that means is you get this really nice high capacity. Now, we did not test this capacity. If you're worried about the capacity, just ask Razor what was their testing process. But it indicates to us that they're anticipating it's very rigid at high weight loads, at high payloads, and it certainly felt very rigid to me. So if you're a big person or you're taking a lot of gear, this could be a good option for you. Now, they say that it's made of tech stitch. I did ask Razor what is tech stitch compared to drop stitch, and they didn't answer. It indicates from this graphic that it's this toughened mesh, but like, I know drop stitch suppliers, they all have a toughened mesh in them. This is the Advanced Elements one. You can see mesh fabric there. The other thing that's not on their website, and again, if you know this or if you ask Razor and they answer you, drop it in the comments and we'll update this video, is the thickness of the PVC. So, I mean, a lot of concern that people have when they're buying inflatable kayaks is about durability. And this is difficult because when you know something's durable when you sell it. I don't sell this, I can't tell you, right? So you can look at a kayak and it can appear great and it can not be, and vice versa. But if you knew the thickness of the PVC, that would help, because it's the thickness of the PVC, not the denier, that helps prevent abrasions and scratches and things that are going to damage your kayak. But I love the rigidity. What I didn't love was the performance on the water. Now, you can see there's a whole lot of air here under the bow. There's air under the stern too. What I look for a kayak is something that's got really good bow and stern shaping that's going to cut down into the water to stop you waggling around. And we don't have that. This actually has quite a lot of rocker, which is like a curvature down and up. You can see it probably better in this picture. So it kind of curves down and up. The base of the kayak's a bit like that. It's more what they do for whitewater because it lets you pivot, but on flat water, pivoting is not what we want to do. And you can kind of see here how this bow and stern shaping, this is our prototype that we're working on. So you can see it's a sit-in kayak with a cockpit as well. We've been working on this for about 8 months, just getting everything right. It's we have a lot of experience knowing what works, and then we've had to do some experimenting and testing and getting feedback and all that stuff from customers. So this will be out soon. But you can see that bow and stern go right down. They come away from the kayak into the water. It makes a huge difference to the tracking. So, when I first went out in the kayak, I actually took it out without the fin and was doing 360s and went, okay, put the fin on, and it was greatly improved with the fin, as you can see, but I'm still waggling, and you can kind of subtly tell I'm getting shifted, like the wind. I had a buoy up here that I was aiming for, and you can see it early on. I was really struggling to stay on track with this buoy. There, you can see my whole bum slides out in the kayak. So it was not great in wind, unfortunately. And I also was struggling, like it was hard work, the paddling. I was really struggling to get it moving. And the reason for that is it's gigantic. So that's why back here I had that drop stitch. The drop stitch is actually only 5 centimeters thick. That's not very thick for drop stitch, but the rigidity is so good because it's a giant kayak. 4 meters long, 83 centimeters wide. Now, the good thing about this is, like I said, really rigid, heaps of space. And the 83 centimeter width with that really sort of flat rocker bottom, super stable. So great for dogs, great for kids, probably be great for fishing if you could get some rod holders going on, that kind of thing. So very versatile in that sense, but you're paying for it with the weight. Now, we weighed the Razor kayaks ourselves. They tend to understate the weight. If you have a Razor kayak and you know the weight or you could weigh it, pop it in the comments for us because we like to verify our weights. So with this one, the kayak assembled, which is like seat, fin, foot brace, 20.4 kilograms. Now, whether that's a lot is going to be relative to your experience. So if you're used to a 30 kilogram hard shell, you're going to be like, sweet, that's so light, that's awesome. Most of my customers, that's not the case. They're looking for something very lightweight that they can easily carry to prevent any kind of back injury. And 20.4, this is not something that I would be taking out on my own. Let's put it that way. And the 20.4 kilograms is not, it's not just about the lifting down the kayak to the water. It's also the sluggishness in the water is because you are trying to move 20 kilograms worth of kayak with every stroke. So that was not ideal. Now, storage-wise, I was going to show you. In here, it's got reasonable storage. I mean, you've got your feet going under here. So you could fit something there maybe between the knees. And you do have storage underneath behind in the back there. And then there's deck storage. The D-rings are a little closer together than I would have liked, and you can't unclip that bungee, unfortunately. But there is still deck space and a lot of deck space and a lot of capacity. Just be careful. The deck is like this. Now, if you put a bag on, the bag kind of leans over to one side, your whole kayak is going to tip and your fin's going to tip. So that's the only challenge here if you're going camping or something and loading up your deck, just to keep it balanced. Set up and pack away. So for pack away, just a heads up, any inflatable kayak that's enclosed like this is going to be a little difficult to dry fully. That's just the nature of it. That's not Razor. That's all of them. So there is a bung. I think it's at the back on the side here. You can drain the water out and you can get your towel in as best you can. I recommend leaving the deck inflated and releasing the floor, and that tends to let stuff come out from the sides. But the nature of these kayaks is that water gets trapped, unfortunately. In terms of setup was super easy as long as you've got an electric pump. There's only 3 valves. But it's 10 psi. The 3 valves are the same, by the way, and any standard electric sump pump or electric kayak pump on the market will work. Just be careful if you're buying an electric pump and it's got a battery. You want to ask the retailer if they have insurance specifically for that battery. If it's a lithium battery, the insurance is actually different because lithium batteries every now and then just, I don't know, catch fire. So that's always worth asking. I would not do this with a hand pump. 10 psi on a giant kayak, you'll be there for 20 minutes and you'll be absolutely exhausted. The other thing just to note real quick is that you have to put a fin on. You can't put the fin on while you're at shore. You can't put a 20.5 kilogram kayak down on a plastic fin. So you've got to do it in the water, and you kind of need to tip the kayak on its side because it's just too heavy to lift it up. So just be aware that you don't put your gear in first. And same when you're getting out, you take your gear out, you tip the kayak over, you take the fin off, then you lift the kayak out. So it's just a bit of a process. The seat. I liked the seat. Lee didn't love the seat. I don't think the support was high enough in the back for him. I like the slightly lower support. This is a real personal thing. I know this seat really well. This is the seat in the Kokopelli Platte and the Platte Plus, and we did look at it and test it out for our Jaspara range. I didn't go with it. Ultimately, the base was too small. Like, who has a bum that small, really? And not enough padding or lift. So you can see in the footage, I'll show you later, I am kind of paddling a bit like this. I just need to be a bit higher, and it's a very firm base. So I took this out in the Platte, this seat, for like 3 hours, and by 3 hours I was like, I am done. I have to get out of this kayak. It was just not enough bum support and ultimately not enough back support either. But I liked it. You may or may not like it. Now, the solution to that thing, by the way, is just make sure you invest in a gel seat, something that's going to give you some lift and some comfort. Now, this style of foot brace kind of drives me nuts a bit because this strap that I guess is supposed to sit at the back just comes in front and kind of interferes and gets caught. Make sure you ratchet it down tight. That'll minimize at least how annoying it is when it comes in front. But it kind of is what it is. There's not much you can do about this one. Just the other thing is you'll see here your toes have to be up in the middle here for you to get the space. So if you like to have your feet kind of flopped out to the side, that's not going to work inside with this style of kayak. In terms of other Razor kayaks, like if you're looking at the Razor brand, although the Edge Pro 1 looks amazing, it's the R1, the little baby R1 Ultra that actually wins the race in the end. And the reason is just that it's so light. Like if you look at the size difference here and the weight difference, it's 11 kilograms, nearly half the weight of the Edge Pro 1. And that means you are hauling less through the water. They all waggle. If you look at that footage, they all turn, and it's because like the X1 and the R1 do have bow and stern shaping, but it doesn't go low enough to actually get into the water. And then the Edge Pro 1 has that kind of rocker with the upturn. So they've all got fins. They're okay. They paddle at a reasonable pace, but they just waggle around a bit. So if we go back to the Razor kayaks and you're looking at these three and you're thinking, which one should I get? You never want to get the heaviest kayak. You always want to get the lightest kayak you can get that still meets your needs. So you would actually start looking at the R1 and go, does this meet my needs? And if you needed to put a spray skirt on, no, it doesn't. You jump up to the Edge Pro 1. That's why I started with the spray skirt. That to me is probably the most important thing about this kayak. If you're really, really big, you might go like really, really tall. This probably isn't going to be big enough for you, and you might look at the X1. The X1, the challenge with the X1 is that it's not that stable. So you can tell it's a lot narrower. I wouldn't be taking dogs, kids, or going fishing in this one. Okay, so if you're big and you want to do those things, that's also when you might go to the Edge Pro 1. So just to sum up, lots of pros to this kayak. The spray skirt's compatibility is awesome. Just make sure you get one that's big enough. The rigidity and the capacity is great. I liked the seat. The inflation with the electric pump was really, really easy. Anything that's compatible electric pump is easy. Very stable and reasonable storage available. Just make sure you get it balanced. In terms of cons, for me, too heavy. And like I said, this is a personal thing and a relative thing. But for me, that weight meant it was a little slow, a little hard work to paddle. It was wind affected. It kind of turned and shifted into the wind a bit. It requires the fin to be installed. I like optional fins. It's hard work with the hand pump. And there's a terrible, terrible foot base. And I cannot comment on durability. Like I said, you only really know when you sell something. You can see, I mentioned before, you can see I'm just sitting a little low. See how my elbow's really close to the deck there, and you can see the width of it too. But normally at this point, I would say in my videos, if you have any questions, please get in touch. This time, I'm going to say, if you have any questions, ask Razor. And let us know the answer in the comments, okay? But I hope this video was helpful for you. This is Emily at Inflatable Kayaks.